Okay, kids. Oi. Okay. Uh, Hold on just a second. My sound stage is falling apart. Okay. So here we are, telling stories. Santa Claus, with Uncle Mike. And today is actually Christmas Day. It's actually December 25th today. But for the story, the episodes, this one is back a couple of days because, Uncle Mike, he's kind of busy a little bit. He still has a life, kind of. He thinks so anyway. But, he's got some things to do. He has some bills to pay, so, he's got to make the money to pay the bills, and mostly, the taxes. Got to pay the tax. Always the tax, Like with life, cannot avoid the death or the tax, right? We hear that before. It's like death and taxes. Cannot avoid them. Well, okay, I guess so, but you should talk to Santa Claus about that subject a little bit. But anyway, for now, it's like, yeah, Uncle Mike is he got to pay the taxes. Taxes. We agree on the taxes because it's like, okay, we're gonna pay some things to the society, and then they are going to do some benefits for us. So it's okay, we got taxes in society. Gotta have it, right? Must be. Depends. Depends on some things. But we are not here to talk about taxes or any of that stuff. We are telling stories about Santa Claus, right? And some old stories, right? Old stories from different cultures, right? Different societies, different peoples. So we hear some stories. We hear some stories about Santa Claus from the north, and the guy with the reindeer, and he make his reindeer magic, and he teach them to fly. And if you didn't hear that, you should go back some episodes and check that one out, because we learn about the reindeers. And pretty funny, Santa Claus and how he makes them into magic reindeers. It's a pretty good story, it makes you laugh. But there's a lot of other parts to that story that, we didn't even touch on. Like, I could tell you one time where, like, Santa Claus, he turned pretty much his whole reindeer um, farm, all of his reindeer livestock. He turned them all into crackheads. They were all just crackheads. Just drug addicts. All the reindeer. Except Rudolph. Rudolph. She was the only one she could handle it. And do something productive or make some magic, make something happen. But the rest of the reindeers, I mean, it was just like kind of like an addiction. And so like, cause he just put it in their food right off the bat. He didn't tell them, and yeah, I got really bad, man. It got to the point where, the female reindeers, they would only eat the mushrooms, and then the male reindeers, they would only eat the piss. They want to drink the piss of the female reindeers because they ingest the mushrooms, and they're going to get high like that. And so yeah, Santa Claus made a mistake when he just started feeding everybody all the mushrooms, because uh, that was, you know, bad deal for Santa Claus Farm at that time. He was like, at that point, he was kind of pissed at Rudolph, like, you bring this scourge upon my farm, my lands. So he had to let all of his reindeers. He just send them back to the wild, you know. And they come around still, but no, nothing here for you. You lost reindeers, except Rudolph. Rudolph hang out with Santa, 'cause they know, okay, we are onto something, but we get to start all over a little bit. You know what I mean? We got our little scheme going here. We know we have some magic, but these reindeers, they all got too crazy. Let's just let them go back to the wild. And they do. They just go back, and maybe they find some herd, and yeah, they just go back to the wild. And Santa Claus, he captures some new caribous, right? And, hi guys, come the reindeers, come with me. I got a really good deal for you. And it's not too hard, because the caribou is pretty easy. Don't take him too long to agree. Okay, I'll stay with you, eat your food. So anyway, yeah, and so Santa start over again with fresh reindeers, and then he's very careful this time. He just feed them good food. And only certain reindeer for special mission get the mushroom piece concoction, right? So, and so you get the 8 reindeer in the story, right? Because there's 8 of them. Let's see, there's Dancer, Prancer, Dasher. I forgot about Dasher, right? Dasher, and Dancer, and Prancer, and Cupid, and Vixen, and Comet, and Donner, and Blitzen, right? You remember, like Cheech and Chong, he's like talking about Santa Claus too, and he's like, Santa Claus and these reindeer, and he said, on Donner, on Blitzen, on Chewy, on Tavo. Like, he made up those last 2 because it's just funny. But the 8 reindeer, their names, we got to think about those a little bit, for the Santa Claus myth. For the one we all, think about Santa Claus, the 8 reindeer, right? And 9 is Rudolph. Always she is at the front. But the 8, we think maybe these are 4 females and 4 males, because we think about the names and we try to make association. Because you can't tell by the horns. All of them have horns, right? Males have bigger horns, but you maybe couldn't tell that way. Trust me. 8 reindeers, they are male. Yeah, because why not? Like, the male reindeer, he's a stronger animal, physically has more muscle mass, better to pull, and so, why not? We get the males to pull, right? They don't mind so much, because they get special treat, from Rudolph, before Magic Sleigh Ride. Yeah, so anyway, just touch back on that story, It took him a while to get the magic just right, And then he figured out, and then he'd do his sleigh, and he'd add the bells, and it'd take him a while, he'd craft that for a long time, Make the bells on the sleigh, the bells, and where to place the bells on the reindeers, for the symphony, right? And the different size bells, the different shape of the bell make a different note, right? What, what is a bell? What is a bell? Isabella? Like, in some language, bella means beauty, right? Uh, Similar word, but, the bell is like first music instrument, right? Very first music instrument is a bell. Yeah. Because what is a bell? Walking around the earth, no technology, nothing. Walking around, what do you find? Maybe a branch, maybe a vine, maybe a stone, maybe a stick, maybe a bone. What are these things? What can we do with them? Picking one up? Cause some friction, and we are hearing, some resonation, some resonant frequency in the object. So best object for early old, caveman bell is a rock, is a stick, is bone. Right? Those three things. Rock, bone, stick, wood, right? Rock, earth, bone. It's animal. It's bone. It's natural on the earth, right? Well, animal dies, leaves his bones. Bone is a hard substance. And the wood, the trees. Wood, rock, bone, wood. Those are your hard substances, What can you make out of these? Well, this is craft. This is the craft. Starting with 3. Yeah, and, it can progress exponentially if you let it play with belief. So, we understand that the craft is something, and basically, it can form a point in time, like in history, as far as we keeping records of people for thousands of years, right? How many thousands of years we keep good records? Well, I don't know, like 6, maybe 6,000 years. We got some record keeping going on, and we lose some records a couple times. We know it already, Sometimes some idiots burn them. What the hell they do that for? It's so frustrating. But anyway, we lose some records sometimes, and it's okay, because it's just, knowledge still there. Just sometimes gotta uncover it, because it got lost. But anyway, record keeping is good, it's important, help us build our knowledge base. So we got maybe 6,000 years of good, equatable, knowledge bases that we can link together through their own records of mostly of wars they fought with each other, right? That's mostly the record keeping is about, the wars, or the trade, right? The commerce, the trade. Those are the record keeping that happens, right? So, it's like around 6,000 years, something like that, for his story, right? His story. What is his story? Well, it's his story, right? His story. Yeah, it's a man's story. And, I apologize to the women that get offended by this, but this section of his story is man's story, right? And you can be angry, but you're probably going to laugh about it after we explain a few things. Okay? Because trust me, just, not to let cat out of bag or anything like that, there has been already her story. Yeah, we already had one her story. And anyway, I'm not going to tell all the secrets right now. But yeah, it happens, So right now we are talking about his story. His story, right? Anyway, we got some catching up to do, because like I said, today actually is Christmas Day, December 25th, 2013. But Uncle Mike, he's put this together, like one every day for 30 days before Christmas. So, you can watch like any Christmas season you want. I don't know why you would want to watch this thing more than twice, because it's kind of boring and stuff. But if you wanted to, you could watch it. Anyway, so that's where we are at right now, and we got gonna post a lot of episodes in our stories today, right now. So we got our stories. What are they? Well, we are talking about Santa Claus, of course. It's Christmas time. The stories about Santa Claus, with the reindeers and the guy in the red suit and on the, pulling in the sled and through the snow, and that type of, legends and stuff. But then also Santa Claus, the idea of him throughout all kinds of people all over the planet throughout a lot of time, mostly like, well, we could focus on just 6,000 years, but what Santa Claus really wants to talk about is stories before that. Yeah, old stories. Because we think like, what is man? Right? What is a man? And we all know, like, okay, the evolution. Yeah, it happens, Evolution? Yeah, it's evidence. Evidence, okay? We got evidence. If nothing else, 6,000 years start from 2 and to today. We pretend that is accurate, as far as, okay, from the Bible to Adam and Eve, and then everybody from there in 6,000 years. You got a pretty good variation between, like 7 foot tall or taller African guy, like North African guy, and, like 3 foot tall pygmy guy over in islands, Philippines area, but south of the, so we got like pretty obvious evidence of adaptation taking place, So whatever, philosophy you are ascribing to, it should not offend that, because we got evidence, it should all fit, all the pieces, they should all fit pretty good. So that's, that's the story. We are telling stories of Santa Claus and evolutionary biology, right? Okay, so I hope you are going to enjoy some of the stories Santa Claus has for us, and I will see you next time. Okay.